So you want to learn more about the psychoanalytic theory? Then stay tuned. A man named Sigmund Freud was a psychologist who is known to be the founding father of psychotherapy. He developed the psychoanalysis theory during his practice in Vienna, Austria. He treated patients with mental disorders and studied what memories were influencing their behaviors. Throughout his study, he concluded that the human mind is divided into two parts. We have the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. To further understand this, let's look at Freud's iceberg analogy. At the tip of the iceberg, we have our consciousness, which is our current focus. We also have our pre-consciousness that consists of memories that we are able to recall. And finally, our unconsciousness that conceal our memories and that we cannot recall. This was the part of the mind that Freud believed was the most powerful influence in human behavior. Now, within our conscious and unconscious minds are three elements which Freud established. So going back to our iceberg analogy, we have something called an id that operates in our unconscious mind, an ego that operates in our conscious and preconscious mind, and a superego, which lie within all levels of consciousness. This conducts our personality that is based on our mental functions. So when we apply this theory in our decision-making process, we have something that tells us to make a good choice or provokes us in committing to a bad choice. And here we are, stuck between what we should and should not do. Our bad choices is our id. It is known to be the pleasure principle. It is the first to develop in our life and what urges our bodily needs, our wants, and our desires, and our impulses. It is also the most selfish part of the mind that entices us to go for immediate satisfactions of what we want and need at that very moment. The second to develop is our rational decisions and our common sense. This is our ego. This is also known as the reality principle. It considers many perspectives, so situations can be done appropriately in a socially acceptable way. It also tries to find a common ground that can satisfy the id and the superego. The superego, known to be the ideal principle, strives to act sociably appropriate. It is also concerned with what is right, and it pushes us to implement morals and follow rules. This is last to develop, later in our life. So let's apply the id, the superego, and the ego in a scenario. The id wishes to devour a whole tub of ice cream, all to himself. But we have the superego that says, you're going to get fat, there's way too much sugar and it's bad for your health. And what about everybody else that wants ice cream? You can't even offer? But you know what? Thankfully, we have our ego, who grabs the spoon and says, one scoop of ice cream isn't going to hurt. Want some? Is there any other scenarios that you can think of? The next time you decide to do something, see if you can identify your id, ego, and superego when you make choices. So that wraps up Freud's psychoanalytic theory. Although he has passed, his work does continue to be a great contributor in the development of psychotherapy.